This is a world where creatures named GHOUL live in harmony with humans. They look exactly like humans but they have some special powers, and these ghouls have to eat humans to stay alive. So this story is about a middle school student named Kaneki, who becomes half human and half ghoul after meeting a girl and his life changes completely. In the beginning of the story, we see the view of the city and then it is announced from a helicopter that an intruder has been seen in the Aqua building and it could be a ghoul. And then we see a ghoul who is eating a human, and a man comes there and that man says that now I understand why they call you a voracious eater. Then the ghoul says that don't you know that no one should be disturbed during mealtime, and the man says that I have received orders from above to catch you alive, but before that will you tell me which part of your body I will cut? And then the ghoul, I think you will like to play house. And then the ghoul runs up with a nail-like weapon in his hand. And then he says that I am also in no mood to play with you, after which he throws away the nails of the man. Now the scene shifts and the scene of cafe is shown where the main hero of our series Ken Kaneki is sitting with his friend Hidoshi, and Hidoshi starts laughing loudly at something and says that you will make your first date in the bookstore, and then Kaneki says to us, what is there to laugh about in this? The bookstore is a good place. Okay, tell me, should I take her for a burger? And then Hidoshi tells him that I don't think she will be impressed by this, and then Hidoshi points to a girl working in that cafe. He asks Kaneki, is this the same girl? Then Kaneki tells him that no, it is not her, she is also looking good, and then that girl comes to them to write their order, and Hidoshi starts flirting with that girl and asks her, can I take your number? Are you looking for someone who can become your friend? And that girl runs away from there. After hearing all this, Kaneki says, don't do all this here. This is the only place where I can bring that girl. Leave doing all this. And then a girl enters the cafe, and seeing her, Kaneki tells Hidoshi that this is her, and that girl is very beautiful. That's why Hidoshi tells him, Kaneki, it is not in your power to impress her. Well, let me go, I have some work, I am leaving now, good luck. And saying this, Hidoshi leaves from there, and Kaneki gathers some courage and looks at that girl, and the girl smiles at him, and then you guys are smart. And in the evening Kaneki calls Hidoshi and tells Hidoshi that it's done, we are going to meet in the bookstore this Sunday, but Hidoshi tells him that I don't think you should take her to the bookstore, all the best my friend. And on the other side we see a police officer, and he says while looking at a dead body that this ghoul is worse than animals, look properly, it has been chewed like this. And the next day we are shown Kaneki and Riizi who are sitting in a restaurant on a date and talking about a writer of a book. And then while talking Kaneki coughs and Riizi asks him, Kaneki, are you okay? And then Kaneki sees something and says, yes, I am fine. And Kaneki asks him, Riizi, why don't you eat something? You haven't eaten anything yet, eat something. And Riizi tells him, yes, actually I am on diet. That's why I am not eating anything. And after some time in the evening, they come out of that cafe, and outside Riizi says to Kaneki that, Kaneki, I live very close to that place where those ghouls were seen, will you drop me home? And Kaneki says, yes, no problem, I will drop you home, come on. And after this both of them start walking towards Riizi's house, while talking, and both of them start to know more things about each other on the way. And then there comes a turn, and Riizi says to him, Kaneki, my house is on this side, walk in this direction. And Riizi starts moving forward in that deserted lane taking Kaneki, and then from behind we also see that girl from the cafe who notices both of them going in that lane, but she does not give any reaction and starts moving forward silently. Now after this we see Kaneki and Riizi who stop after walking a little ahead, and Kaneki says to her, Riizi, have we reached? Can we come again sometime? And Riizi says to her, yes, we have similar thoughts about books and there are many more similarities between us. And then Riizi hugs Kaneki and says to him, Kaneki, I started liking you. And on hearing this Kaneki becomes very happy, but then Kaneki feels something around his neck, and then Riizi bites his neck. But before Kaneki could understand what is going on here, Riizi took a very big bite on his neck and said to him, your blood is very tasty. You know, Kaneki, apart from books I like something else too, eating humans and seeing their scared faces. And hearing this Kaneki gets very scared and starts running from there to save his life, and says in his mind, no, 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 this cannot happen, it cannot happen, I have to run. Kaneki is running from there, but Riizi catches him and starts moving forward to kill him, but then the construction rods fall on Riizi and Riizi dies, and Kaneki seeing all this happening in front of his eyes. And after a while we see Kaneki who is in some different place, and Kaneki says in his mind, where am I? Is this a dream? Which place is this? Have I died? And then another voice comes from behind, we will have to do an organ transplant soon, but sir, this is very dangerous. Why are you worrying about that? Don't do it, I will take full responsibility for it. And then after a while Kaneki regains consciousness and we see that one of Kaneki's eyes has become GHOUL, and these eyes are called Kakugan, and we come to know that Kaneki's condition had become very bad after that accident, so Riese's organs were transplanted inside him to save his life. Kaneki tries to eat the hospital food. Kaneki takes a bite and says, "What is this?" And then Kaneki's doctor comes there and says, "Kaneki, I heard you are not eating anything. What happened, son?" Kaneki tells him that, "Sir, I am not liking the taste of any food. Whenever I eat something, I get a very strange taste." The doctor says, "Yes, son, it happens. You have been on bed for a long time. Maybe that's why your taste buds must have gone bad. There is nothing to worry about, it will get fine after some time on its own. You will be fine." And after a few days Kaneki is released from the hospital. While walking, Kaneki is saying in his mind that everything seems normal, but there is something that I am not feeling right. And as soon as he comes home, he sees that Hidoshi has sent his favorite hamburger and a letter for him, and he comes inside his room and sits and is thinking something, and then he notices that a man on TV says that, "Let me tell you, that a GHOUL can live for 1 or 2 months without eating anything, and a GHOUL does not like human food at all, they can only eat human flesh. The structure of their tongue is very different from the tongue of humans, and if a GHOUL tries to eat human food, he will vomit or his health will start deteriorating." And hearing this, Kaneki gets very scared and Kaneki goes to the kitchen. He takes out a burger and tries to eat it, but Kaneki is not able to eat it, but he swallows it forcefully and he vomits as soon as he eats it. He goes to the kitchen and tries to eat all the things in the kitchen forcefully, but whatever he eats, he vomits, and Kaneki gets very upset and sits down on the ground, and now he tries to eat the burger given by Hidoshi, but Kaneki is not able to eat that either. Now after a while Kaneki comes out of the house and roams around in the city to calm himself down, and while walking Kaneki gets the urge to eat human flesh and feels like eating humans while roaming around him. He notices a little girl and he is about to eat her, so Kaneki gets very scared and quickly runs away from there to his house and look in mirror, but inside the mirror and sees that one of his eyes has become a ghoul, and looking at his eyes he says, "What has happened to me, what is happening?" And then Kaneki sees Riese's reflection in the mirror. Kaneki breaks the mirror in anger and Kaneki grabs a knife and tries to kill himself and says, "Okay, if I have become a ghoul then it won't hurt me at all." And saying this he stabs the knife inside his stomach and the knife breaks, but nothing happens to Kaneki. And seeing this, Kaneki is confirmed that he has turned into a ghoul, and now Kaneki goes out of control and says, "Kill humans and eat them." Kaneki starts losing control over himself, and becomes like a half ghoul and half human, and then he smells, and he thinks that this smell is like my mom's food, and Kaneki starts running madly towards that smell, but as soon as he reaches near that smell, he sees that a ghoul is eating a human, and seeing this, Kaneki breaks down badly and says that I am getting the smell of a dead person like my mom's food, what happened to me? And then the ghoul says, "Oh well, you are also a ghoul. I will give you some. I am also hungry for a long time, but you can also eat from this." And then a guy comes from behind and blows off the head of that ghoul, and says, "This is my area, what are you both doing here?" And then that guy looks at Kaneki and says, "Hey, what is this? You have Kakugan in only one eye, how strange this is." And that guy catches Kaneki by the throat and starts hitting him, and says, "How dare you come in my area?" Kaneki says, "I didn't know. I was just strolling here, leave me." And then another ghoul comes from behind, and this is the same girl from the cafe whom we had seen earlier. This ghoul's name is Nishio, and this girl's name is Toka, and Toka says to Nishio, "Since when did this area become yours?" This was Riese's area, and then he says to Nishio, "You have come here again, she is dead, don't forget," and a fight starts between them, and Toka lifts hand of that body and says, "Do you want this?" Kaneki says, "No, I am a human, I cannot eat all this." And then Toka recognizes him, that he is the same person who was with Riese, and she asks him, "Wait a minute, how did you survive and what happened to your eye? Why do you have only one eye, Kakugan?" Kaneki, while crying, tells him that if I eat this then I will not be a human, and then Toka tells him that you will die or else you eat it quietly, and Toka forcefully stuffs that piece of meat in Kaneki's mouth and Kaneki vomits. Kaneki says, "Why did you do this to me? I cannot eat the flesh of any human, I am not like you, I do not want to become a monster." And Toka starts beating Kaneki very badly, and then an old man comes there, and we come to know that this guy is also a ghoul, and he is the owner of the same cafe in which this girl works. This man's name is Yoshimura. He says to Toka, "Don't bother him further," and says, "Child, it seems she has bothered you too much, it is our duty to help the weak." And Yoshimura says to Kaneki, "Child, you follow me." And all those people come to the same cafe in which Kaneki had come earlier, and Yoshimura gives a coffee to Kaneki. Kaneki says to Yoshimura, thank you sir, but I have tried it, I am not able to eat any human thing, this is a coffee, see I will vomit as soon as I drink it, and Yoshimura says try it. Kaneki tries that coffee and drinks the whole coffee in one go without any problem. Yoshimura says to him, see, I told you that we have mixed something inside this coffee and it is not necessary for you to know about it. But your hunger will not be satiated by just drinking coffee. Yoshimura gives Kaneki a piece of human flesh in a packet and says, child, if you need more then take it from me, you are always welcome here, and Kaneki leaves from there, and after Kaneki leaves, Toka asks that old man, sir, why did you help him so much? Yoshimura says, Toka, do you remember that we saw in the news this morning that someone died on the construction site? It was none other than Kaneki, and Riizi's organs have been put inside him, and on hearing this Toka gets very worried and he is going to become a ghoul like us very soon, but at this time he has become half human and half ghoul. He is neither completely ghoul nor completely human, so we should help him. And on the other side we see Kaneki, who is in his house and he is very hungry because he has not eaten anything for 2-3 days. Riizi's spirit keeps trying to manipulate him and says, hey, try it, it's so tasty, try it once, please try it once on my request, you'll like it a lot. And getting convinced by her words, Kaneki is about to eat that piece of meat, but his phone starts ringing and he throws away that packet. Now the next day Kaneki reaches his school. He is going towards his class normally when Hidoshi catches him from behind and says to Kaneki, where were you all these days? What happened? If you had not come for 3-4 more days, I would have died from pain alone. You know I am not able to concentrate in my classes at all. Where were you? Kaneki apologizes to him and says, sorry Hidoshi, I had an accident actually. And after this we see a flashback of Kaneki where even in childhood Hidoshi used to call Kaneki in the same way and used to come from behind and slap him like this. Now back in the present, Hidoshi says to Kaneki, Kaneki, are you eating properly? You seem very weak, what happened to you? And what happened to your eye? Hidoshi knows that Kaneki is very much troubled, that's why he doesn't ask him much about the accident and tries to make him act normal so that he can recover from the trauma. And after this, both of them reach the house of Hidoshi's, and then a girl comes out of his friend's room and runs away from there after seeing them both. And now as soon as Kaneki sees that boy, he realizes that he is the same goofy boy whom he had seen that night, and he comes to Kaneki and says to him, it's nice to meet you Kaneki. I am Nishio and I am a second-year student, I am your senior, so stay within your limits with me. Hidoshi, you needed your last year's data, right? Just wait a minute, maybe it is in my house, do one thing, you come with me to my house. Kaneki gets very nervous after hearing this and he thinks that this guy might do something to Hidoshi because he is a goofy, so he says, can I also come with you? Says to Nishio, yes, you can also come, there is no problem. And now all three of them start moving towards Nishio's house, and we see that Nishio has mingled a lot with humans. All three of them take a burger from a place and we see that Nishio is eating burger very easily. He is not facing any problem in eating that burger, and seeing this Kaneki is very surprised. And then while walking suddenly Nishio kicks Hidoshi very hard and sends him to a deserted place, and then he catches Kaneki by the neck and says that your smell is exactly like a female GHOUL, you were going to eat him, your friend, right? And then Kaneki says no, why are you saying this? I am not like you, Hidoshi is my friend, I will never eat him. And then Nishio passes his hand through Kaneki's stomach and says, I don't like it at all, I told you this. I am your senior, stay in your limits in front of me. And we see that Nishio has put his leg on Hidoshi, and seeing this Kaneki gets very angry, and Kaneki takes his bag and moves towards Nishio to hit him. And Nishio says, how are you hitting me? Are you a girl? Well, you hit me with the purse. And he kicks Kaneki very hard and throws him far away, and then he picks up Kaneki again and says, you are very weak. This won't work. And then Nishio starts hitting Hidoshi very badly and says goodbye for now. Nishio, we will meet again in hell. And we are shown a flashback of Kaneki and Hidoshi. Kaneki always remained alone after his mother's death and did not talk much to anyone in school. And then one day Hidoshi sees Kaneki sitting towards a sunset and tries to befriend him. He extends his hand. No one used to talk to him, only Hidoshi came to talk to him and become his friend. And since then Hidoshi and Kaneki became very good friends. And in the present Kaneki says, I will not let you kill him, he changed my life, whatever. And then Kaneki's Kagun starts getting active, and Kaneki takes a very dangerous form and moves towards Nishiho, and Kaneki beats Nishiho very badly. But then Riizi starts dominating him, and then Riizi tells him that it looks so tasty. Seeing this, I also got hungry, although I am dead, but I am feeling hungry after seeing this. Kaneki, see how tasty it is, eat it, it is very tasty. And Kaneki says, shut up, you will not eat him. he is my friend, and Ryuzi tells him that you have only one chance, eat it, it is very tasty. And then Kaneki starts becoming unconscious and says, yes, you are right, it looks so tasty, should I eat it? No, I can't do this, what am I doing? He is my friend, I can't eat him, I will eat only a little. And he goes towards Hidoshi to eat him, but then Toka comes there and says, so you are becoming like us, are you so hungry? Your hunger has gone out of control, you are going to eat your friend, I am telling you the truth, eat him, it doesn't matter to me, but after eating it, it will affect you, you will feel very guilty, you will not be able to live after eating it. And then Toka also activates her Kagun and she defeats Kaneki. Now after this we see Kaneki inside a house, and then he sees that there is blood inside his mouth. Then Yoshimura comes there and tells him that Toka has brought him here. Kaneki asks him about Hidoshi and Yoshimura shows him Hidoshi, who is very much injured, but he is alive, and Kaneki is very happy to see that he did not eat Hidoshi. Kaneki asks Yoshimura what they did to him when he was sleeping because he noticed blood in his mouth, and Yoshimura tells him that you know about this child, the hunger of a ghoul can be satisfied by only one thing, if I had not done this, then you would have died by now, you would have eaten your friend due to hunger by now. And then Kaneki becomes very sad after hearing this and thinks, what have I become in my mind? I am neither a human nor am I a GHOUL, I should die. After this we see a hospital where a doctor is doing a checkup, and a man comes inside breaking the door and says, finally I have found you Yamari, remember you made a weapon for me, I want you to get the same weapon made for me again. And then we see that there is also a woman and her child there who are the family of the same doctor. Now the next day we see that Hidoshi comes to the same cafe, and Yoshimura had also hired Kaneki, and on seeing Hidoshi, Kaneki gets very surprised and asks him, Hidoshi, how come you are here? And Hidoshi says to him, oh yes Kaneki, I came here to thank Toka, it was her who saved our lives when we had an accident, you forgot that we were very lucky that we did not lose our lives. Nishio also did not get hurt much, and he is also going to recover very soon. Anyway, let's go, I am getting late for class. And after Hidoshi leaves, a woman and her child come there. This is the same woman whom we had just seen. Toka welcomes them. This woman's name is Ryoko and her daughter's name is Hanami, and she asks her where is the manager. Toka tells her that he is inside, and that woman goes to meet the manager. And on the other side we see a meeting of CCG, and then a man says, so official status of 11th Ward, it seems they are going to do something big together. Very soon a very big war is going to start. Many ghouls have been seen in this area. And then a man raises his hand and says, yes sir, I am Amon. 3 months ago an incident happened which you must remember, when a ghoul of 13th Ward was found with a female ghoul, and at that place we found a weapon, and this weapon is made of concrete shell, and we have to find out who made it and what happens to it. And that official tells him, so okay Mato and Amon, you have to investigate this weapon and find out what happens to it, and from today you people are in charge of 21st Ward. After this we see Kaneki, and Yoshimura is teaching him to feed human food and gives him a sandwich. Kaneki takes a bite of it, but Kaneki is not able to eat it and says, what kind of taste is this? It is so dirty. And Yoshimura picks up a sandwich and tells Kaneki that you don't have to eat it, you just have to act like chewing it, look exactly like this, although it will take you some time to learn it, but you will do it, it is very easy. Now you do one thing and go to Mr. Yomo and he will give you the rest of the information. Now after this Kaneki gets inside the car and starts going somewhere with Mr. Yomo. Kaneki tries to talk to Mr. Yomo, but Mr. Yomo does not give him any answer. After a while they reach a location. While driving, there is a very big ditch below, and Kaneki starts looking at that ditch, and then suddenly Kaneki falls down from that ditch, but Kaneki somehow saves himself with the help of his Kaguna. This Kaguna, which had just opened, was opened unconsciously, and as soon as he goes down, he sees a dead body in front of him and starts screaming very loudly. So Mr. Yomo also comes there, and Yomo tells him that a lot of people die here. This place is a suicide point and we have to take these people. Kaneki says, wait a minute, does this mean that you people eat people who commit suicide? And Mr. Yomo says, yes kid, come on, pack them quickly, we have to take these dead bodies. After this we are shown Mato and Amon, and then a ghoul attacks Mato, but Mato defeats that ghoul very easily and asks that ghoul, do you know what this is? But he says, no I don't know, please don't kill me, please spare my life. But Mato does not show any mercy on him and kills him. Now the next day we see Kaneki, and Yoshimura tells Kaneki that he should also have a mask, because nowadays many police officers keep investigating here and there to kill the ghoul. And after this they go to a mask shop, and there are many masks lying there, and as soon as Kaneki removes a cloth, he sees that a ghoul was sitting there. seeing which he gets a little scared, and then Toka tells him that this is Yuta and he is the one who makes your mask, and then Yuta starts smelling Kaneki and tells him it is a little strange, for a minute your smell matches with Miss Ri's, and Yuta starts taking Kaneki's measurement, and after taking the measurement they leave from there, and while leaving Kaneki asks Toka that why we ghoul have to wear this mask. Toka says, hey, did no one tell you about dead dops? Dead dops means the investigators of GHOUL. We can never show our real face to them, that is why if we ever encounter them then we have to wear a mask so that they do not recognize us. After this Kaneki goes to meet Hanami back in that coffee shop, but then he sees that Hanami is eating human flesh. Seeing which he gets very surprised, and after a while he again goes to her room and talks to her a little about which class you study in and also helps her a little in studies. Now after this he comes down and starts doing his work, and then a man enters the cafe, very strange, wearing a red coat. He says, wow, what a fragrance, and this guy's name is Tsukiyama, and this guy goes straight to Kaneki and says, hey, I have never seen you before, you must be new here, what's your name? Kaneki says, yes, my name is Kaneki, and then he says while soothing Kaneki, what a fragrance, and then Toka says to him, what do you want? Go from here, let us work, you don't have any work, go from here. And while leaving that guy gives an evil smile to Kaneki and says we will meet again very soon Kaneki, and after that guy leaves Kaneki asks Toka who was this, and Toka tells him that Kaneki stay away from him, he is one of the 21 ward, he is very dangerous, stay away from him. Now the next day we see Toka in school, and one of his friends gives him a piece of chicken meat, she feeds him, and Toka is unable to refuse her friend and eats that piece of chicken and says to him, oh wow, this is very tasty, but then after he leaves she goes to the washroom and she vomits it out. And now after this we see Tsukiyama and Kaneki. Suki tells him, Kaneki, I just want to be friends with you, you know I am very fond of books. Kaneki says, in your mind this is just like me, Toka must have told you to stay away from me, but Kaneki, tell the truth, I am not a bad man, I don't know what enmity Toka has with me. And after saying this the man starts leaving from there. Now Kaneki comes back to his shop. Kaneki thinks in his mind that this man does not seem like a bad man to me, this guy is fine. After this Kaneki goes somewhere with Yomo, and Yomo tells him dead dops has arrived in 24th ward, and so you have to learn to protect yourself, kid. And then that guy starts doing hand-to-hand combat with Kaneki, and after training for a while he says, Kaneki, you come here, I will train you every day, this is important for you, so don't delay at all. Now the next day Kaneki meets Tsukiyama in a restaurant, and we see a flashback of Tsukiyama where Tsukiyama invites Riizi for dinner, but Riizi says, my days have not come so bad yet that I go on a date with you. And in the present this guy gets very upset thinking all this, and in anger he also breaks that coffee cup, due to which Kaneki gets a little cut in his hand. Tsukiyama gives him a handkerchief and says, sorry Kaneki, I did it by mistake, would you like to go to a place of Riizi, it is near from here, it was his favorite place. And then he taking Kaneki's blood-stained handkerchief, he says, sorry Kaneki, I will clean it for you. And in the washroom this man is smelling Kaneki's blood-stained handkerchief and says, wow, what an aroma it is, very nice. And now after this we see Kaneki who is taking a bath in the washroom, and then a man comes outside and says to him, sir, clothes are ready for you, you have to wear them. And Kaneki comes to a place wearing a cool suit and boots, and then suddenly the light there goes off and Kaneki starts going upwards through an elevator on his own, and says in his mind, what is happening, why is this happening, where am I going? And then we see that there are many people there too, and then a man looking at Kaneki says, ladies and gentlemen, this is our dish of the day and it has been brought by Mr. M. And then Kaneki sees that Tsukiyama is also standing there and asks him, I trusted you, why did you do this to me? And then Tsukiyama announces that I want to tell something to all of you. This is a half-blooded ghoul and its smell is very different and very good. And Tsukiyama throws Kaneki's blood-stained handkerchief down towards them, and all of them start smelling that handkerchief and say, this is really very delicious, I want to eat it. And then he says, Mr. Sorrow will prepare our dish of the day. And then we see that a very dangerous, strong man comes there and runs to bite Kaneki. Kaneki is running, protecting himself in some way or the other, and says in his mind, there must be something that will help me to get out of here. What is happening to me, where am I? But that hall closes from all sides, and then Sorrow kicks Kaneki very hard, and Kaneki falls very far away, and then Sorrow catches Kaneki and starts strangling him. And he is about to kill Kaneki when Kaneki's Kagun gets activated and he gives him a strong punch, and he falls very far away, and he moves towards Kaneki to kill him again, and he is about to kill Kaneki when Tsukiyama comes there from behind and he kills Sorrow and tells all the people present there that I am sorry, this was a small joke of mine. And then he says to Kaneki that sorry Kaneki, you are so good. Why should I let others eat him? And then we see that someone is trying to pull Kaneki from behind and he is shouting for help. And then Tsukiyama comes there and Kaneki says, "Thank you Mr. Tsukiyama, you came here, please save me." Tsukiyama extends his hand towards Kaneki and says, "Yes, I will definitely help you," but then we see that all this was just a dream. After this Kaneki goes to Toka's room and then Miss Ryoko comes out of her room and she says to Toka, "I am going out. I will come in a while," and Kaneki says hello to Miss Ryoko and comes inside and sits, and then the doorbell rings and she sees that her best friend had come to her house, and seeing him she gets very scared because Kaneki is also there, and then Toka opens the door and says, "What happened? How did you come suddenly? How are you?" And her best friend says, "Yes, I came to check on you. You haven't come to school for a long time, right? I was worried about you, Toka." And then her best friend sees Kaneki behind her and she feels that these two are having an affair. Toka says, "Oh no, he is not my boyfriend, he is my brother." Her best friend gets very hurt seeing this and doesn't listen to her and says, "Take this, I brought food for you, eat it." She shows a sign to Toka and leaves from there. And Toka says, "She has sent this with a lot of love for me, I will eat it." Kaneki tells her that if you eat this, you will fall ill, but Toka doesn't listen to anything and starts eating it. Now after this we see Tsukiyama, who is smelling Kaneki's blood-soaked handkerchief and says, "This smell is so good." And here Kaneki is roaming outside and then he sees that some people are beating Nishio. Kaneki comes forward and says to them, "Don't you guys feel that you are beating him too much?" And then one of those men comes forward and says, "Boy, are you his friend? We are going to beat him more. Get out of here quietly or else you will also meet the same fate. Not even a bone will be left of you. Run away from here." Saying this, he starts attacking Kaneki, but then Kaneki says that he feels that the time has come to try out his training. Kaneki pulls that man and punches him and that punch works. Kaneki frees Nishio from those goons and comes towards his house. Nishio is very badly injured, so he has come to drop him home. A girl comes out of Nishio's room and says, "Who did this to you?" Nishio falls unconscious in her lap and they treat him. Now after some time, in evening we see both of them sitting in the park. Kaneki asks her, "You are a human being, right? Then why are you living with a person like Nishio?" And his girlfriend tells him, "I am sure. I love Nishio very much and I know that he will never cheat me. I don't care that he is a ghoul, but he will have to eat human flesh. What should I do? I have to help him, but how can I help him?" And Kaneki tells her that I am feeling very bad, but his hunger can be satiated only by human flesh, and Kaneki says, "You don't worry. I will do something." And now after this the girl comes out of a grocery store with some goods and she says in her mind that I have full faith in Kaneki, he will definitely do something. And then from behind Tsukiyama comes there and kidnaps her and says that, "Beautiful, if you would have done one thing for me, I would have been very happy." And Kaneki also reaches his house and sees that there is a letter lying there. Kaneki picks up that letter and starts reading it, and it was written on it that, "Dear Kaneki, the girl you were talking to a while ago, we will become dinner. I am waiting for you with great patience, your Tsukiyama." And Kaneki understands that this man has kidnapped that girl, and then Nishio also comes there and says, "Kaneki, my girl has not come home yet, where is she?" And then Kaneki shows that letter to Nishio and Nishio says, "How dare he kidnapped my girl? Why does this always happen to me?" And Kaneki tells him, "Don't worry, he is behind me, it doesn't matter, I will bring him." And Nishio says, "Kaneki, I will also come with you, he has kidnapped my girl." And now after this both of them reach Tsukiyama. Tsukiyama says, "Nishio, I did not invite you, why have you come?" Nishio says, "Let her go. It is not her fault." Tsukiyama says, "My friend, I cannot leave her, now I have also prepared the dish, now I cannot leave her." He says, "Sorry." And Kaneki, "You can eat as much meat as you want, and after that I will eat you too." And then Tsukiyama hits a strong punch on Nishio and knocks him away and starts beating Kaneki very badly, and then Toka comes there and kicks Tsukiyama very hard, due to which blood starts coming out of his eyes, and a very dangerous fight starts between Tsukiyama and Toka, and then Kaneki and Toka attack him together. But Tsukiyama dodges their attack very easily and breaks Kaneki's hand and says, "Why not Kaneki have a sample?" And he inserts his hand in Kaneki's stomach and tests his blood and says, "Wow, this is very amazing, it turned out to be tastier than I thought, very good." And then Toka attacks and Nishio starts attacking, but he also passes his Kagun through Nishio's stomach. And now Kaneki says to Toka, "Toka, I have a plan." Kaneki lets Toka eat some of his blood. Toka bites him, and seeing this, Tsukiyama gets very upset, and due to eating Kaneki, his Kagun gets active and Toka says, Kaneki, there is no need to eat and there is nothing here that is only yours, and we see Toka's Kagun which looks very badass and looks so cool, and now a very dangerous fight starts between them and we see that Toka is overpowering Tsukiyama, and seeing this, Kaneki gets very surprised. Toka injures that guy very badly and he runs towards Nishio to eat his flesh, but before he could eat him, Nishio grabs his tie and, taking advantage of this opportunity, Toka attacks him and cuts off one of his arms, and now Tsukiyama, laughing like a madman, says, Kaneki, come on, I will eat you, it will take a lot of time to heal. Kaneki, just one bite please, but before he could reach Kaneki, Toka kills him. Now after this, Nishio goes to his captive and tells her, don't worry, everything will be fine, and then Toka comes from behind and tells him, Nishio, step back, I have to kill her, this girl knows you and Kaneki, she can become a threat to us, I can't leave her like this, I have to kill her. And then Kaneki comes from behind and says, no Toka, tell me one thing, even if she was your best friend, would you have killed her? Then Toka says, you shut up, I don't want to hear all this, I am just fed up with all these things, now I want to leave, I don't want to take any risk. And Toka attacks him, but Nishio takes all her attacks on himself and saves his life and falls down. Then that girl says to Toka, you look so beautiful, and then Toka runs away from there and sits on a roof and says that I am beautiful in my mind, but from which perspective do I look beautiful to him? Now after this we are shown Jason, and he comes to Hanami's father and takes him the same weapon which he had ordered to make. In the beginning he tells him, wow, you have made a good weapon, and after saying this Jason attacks him. After this we see Ryoko. Ryoko tells him that Hanami's father was caught doing a wrong thing in the 34th word. Since then he has stopped doing all the wrong things, and on the other side we see Jason, and then Mato and Amon also come there and say, well, he is also here, let's kill him today as well. And now a very dangerous fight starts between these two, and then Jason tells them, you guys could have fought well, but I can play with you for just 2 more minutes. And then a very dangerous fight starts between Mato and Jason, but Jason breaks his weapon with the help of his Kagun and then tells them that it's been 2 minutes, I'm leaving, goodbye. And then Mato and Amon go to Hanami's father, and then Hanami's father releases his Kagun and moves forward to kill Mato, but Mato defeats him very easily and kills him. After this we see Ryoko and Hanami, who had come to a bookstore to buy a book, and then it starts raining and both of them started moving forward while talking, but then Ryoko sees some investigators who were looking for them. And then she says to Hanami, come on Hanami, we have to go home. And while walking Hanami stops in the middle and smells something and says, Mama, this is Papa's smell, it means Papa is nearby. And Hanami starts chasing that smell in ignorance, and while running she reaches an alley where Amon and Mato are standing in front of her, and then Ryoko covers Hanami with the help of her Kagun and tells her to run away from here. Hanami says, but I cannot leave you. Ryoko tells her that good children do not insist, please son, go away from here, I am going to meet you again very soon. I will just mark them and come to you quickly. And Hanami starts running from there crying and saying, Kaneki, and at that time Kaneki is also passing through the same alley from where Hanami is running, and at that time Kaneki's eyes fall on Hanami and he quickly runs towards her. That what happened, why is she running like this? And then he asks Hanami, what happened to you? And Hanami tells him everything, and Kaneki takes him to the same location where both of them are fighting with Ryoko, and he sees that Mato is about to kill Ryoko and Kaneki is unable to do anything, and he catches Hanami and hides behind the wall. He kills Miss Ryoko, and Kaneki says, in my mind that I can't do anything except closing her eyes. Now after this we see all those people sitting at one place, and Toka comes there, and Yoshimura tells Toka that the investigators have killed Ryoko, and on hearing this Toka gets very shocked, and in anger she punches the wall and asks them, shit, is Hanami fine? And Yoshimura tells her that he made her sleep in a room and she is absolutely fine. And then Toka says that after all we should take some action against them, but Yoshimura says no, we will not take any action against them. We cannot do this. This step will be right for the safety of all of us. We should not take any action. Toka gets angry and says that we have lost one of our companions, and you are saying that we should sit here quietly. I am not going to sit quietly. I will take revenge from them. Saying this she leaves from there. And Kaneki says that this is all my fault. If Toka was there in my place, she would have definitely done something. Now after this we see 2 investigators who are roaming outside and say that we should roam like this. We enjoy for a while. We don't roam around, we are busy working the whole day, and then suddenly a person goes tearing his mouth and he kills him, and then Amon comes there and we see that the person is wearing a mask. He is wearing a rabbit mask who had attacked both of them, and then he attacks Amon as well, and he is about to kill Amon when Mato comes there and scolding Amon says that child, you should always keep your Kagun with you. well you take a breath. Till then I will play with it a little, and Mado attacks him, but that person wearing the rabbit mask dodges his attack very easily, and then we see that behind that mask is Toka, and she says I will not leave you alive, and Toka attacks us with her Kagun, but Mado easily dodges her, and then he attacks Toka, and Toka gets badly injured, and she moves towards him again to attack him, but Mado injures her with his weapon and Toka escapes from there with great difficulty. Now after this we sees Kaneki, and he hears a voice from behind, and he quickly goes there and sees that Toka is very badly injured, and Kaneki asks her what happened, who did this to you, and then Yoshimura comes there and tells Toka that you did not listen to me and went to fight them alone. Now whether you live or die, it is your responsibility, Toka. Now I am not going to help you, and hearing this Toka leaves. And then Kaneki says to Yoshimura that sir, I know you are going through a very difficult time, but you have so much experience that you can stop all this. You do nothing but just stand quietly and order everyone to keep quiet. I cannot give up like you at this time, so sir, right now I will do what I feel is right, and I am going to help Toka. Please forgive me. And Kaneki leaves from there angrily, and Kaneki goes to Toka and tells her that I will not leave you, and Toka shows tantrums and says that there is no need. Kaneki says why did you need to go alone like this, and then Toka says that I don't care if I die, but you are helpless and you were helpless and they didn't care what a mess they did, and then the Kaneki says to Toka I want to help you please, and now after this we see both of them under a bridge, and Kaneki asks Toka what are we doing, and then Toka tells him if you want to help me then stand there quietly, and then Mado gets a call from a woman. And that woman is telling her the address of number 745, which is Hanami's number, and Mado notes that address in her diary. Kaneki comes to Yuto and takes his mask which Yuta made for Kaneki, and Kaneki says in my mind I will change myself and our world. After this we see Amon and Mado, and Amon sees that Mado has a suitcase in his hand, and seeing that he asks her that sir what is in it, and Mado tells him that child it is better for you not to know some things. And on the other side we see Kaneki and Toka who separately and start looking for Hanami, and then we see Hanami who while smelling her mom reaches under a bridge, and then she sees a bag there, and going near it she sees that in that bag there is dead body of her mom, and seeing that Hanami starts screaming very loudly, Kaneki hears her voice and starts moving towards her, and then he sees that Toka had reached Hanami, and Toka tells Hanami that Hanami we have to get out of here quickly, there is danger here, but Hanami says no I will not go without mom. Just leave me here where my mom is, I miss her a lot. Toka says by the way what is in this bag, and Hanami says yes. My mom is in this bag, I just want to stay with her, please don't separate me from her. And on the other side, Amon says to Kaneki, oh, so you are also wearing a mask. It seems that you are a friend of that rabbit masked person. It is better for you to run away from here with your tail between your legs. Otherwise, I will have to kill you even if I don't want to. But Kaneki says, no, I cannot let you go ahead. If you have guts, then fight with me. And then Kaneki runs towards Amon to kill him. But Amon picks up Kaneki and throws him down, and says, you are a child in front of me. And then Kaneki says in his mind, no, I cannot let this man go ahead. Hanami is in front of me, I don't want to see her die. I have to save Hanami at any cost. And then Kaneki gets up again, and Amon says to him, okay, so you want to fight the real battle with me, then it's okay. And Amon takes out his weapon, and he attacks once, but Kaneki dodges his attack, and on the other side Mado also comes there to Toka and Hanami and says to them how did you like my gift, maybe you also want to go to your mom, never mind I will fulfill your wish. And on hearing this Toka gets very angry, and Toka activates her Kagun and says to him I don't understand whether you are a human or a ghoul, even in human form you look like a ghoul, are you feelingless? And then Mado takes out the weapon made by Hanami's father and attacks Toka, but she dodges all his attacks. And on the other side Amon says to Kaneki, I have a question for you people, like you kill innocent people and eat them, you are such people you never think what would happen to their family members, and that is why you people have no right to stay alive. And on the other hand Toka says to Mado that you are stone-hearted. Do you even know what is the fear of losing your loved ones? How does one feel when one's own goes away from this world? You killed Miss Ryoko without thinking anything, did you ever think what will happen to this girl after her death? And on the other hand Amon throws Kaneki on the ground and tells Kaneki that you know that rabbit killed one of my investigator friends. Why was he killed? Because he is an investigator. The reason for all this is only you. And on the other hand Toka attacks Mado, but Mado takes out another weapon of hers and throws Toka away and says to Hanami, Do you know what is this? This weapon is made of your mom, and Toka gets very angry and she attacks Mato, and on the other hand Kaneki says what you say is true, we ghouls sometimes behave like demons, but the entire family of Hanami was taken away from her. We ghoul also feel pain as humans do, and Kaneki gets up and tells him I agree that some ghouls are bad, but it does not mean that all people are the same. We should live by cooperating with each other, and not only ghoul are wrong, humans are also wrong. And on the other hand Mato inserts her weapon in Toka's stomach, and then Kaneki runs towards Amon with an evil intention and bites his shoulder, due to which Kaneki's Kagun gets activated and a very dangerous fight starts between them. And in the end Kaneki breaks Amon's weapon, and Kaneki says to him that please run away from here because I cannot control myself anymore, I am losing my consciousness, I don't want to take your life, please run away from here. And Amon says no, I cannot run away from any ghoul, and Kaneki attacks Amon unwillingly and says sir, please, I beg you, please go away from here. And on the other side we see Hanami. And Hanami says stop harassing my sister, and on saying this her Kagun also gets activated and Hanami attacks Mato and kills him, and Toka tells Hanami to kill Mato completely, but Hanami tells her that no, I cannot do this, I don't want to take any revenge from him, but Toka tells us that Hanami has killed your mom, take revenge from him, but Hanami says no, I don't want to take any revenge, I just have to go to them. And then Mato gets up again and moves forward to attack Hanami, but Toka kills him with her Kagun and all of them leave from there. Now after a few days of that incident, everything starts becoming normal. Everyone is trying to recover from that incident, but they are not able to overcome this thing completely, but still they have to keep moving forward. And we also see Toka and Nishio fighting, and on the other hand Amon has come to pay tribute to his mentor Mato in the graveyard and says to Mato, sir, I will kill the person who killed you with my own hands, I promise you. And saying this he starts leaving from there, and the first season of this series ends here. So guys, this was today's video, and if you want its next part please subscribe.